Hello, 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 and welcome to episode 1 of the Metacast podcast. This podcast is about trying to create a podcast. Basically, my friend Distance and I, we decided that I'm too much of a perfectionist, right? Basically, I try to wait until everything is perfect before I think it's quote unquote ready. And that is what was going to happen when we were trying to start a podcast. So instead of doing that, we're just going to we're just going to do it live. We're going to make a podcast about the creation of our podcast. I think this gets a few layers deep. It gets hard to talk about this. Do you agree?
Yeah, well, I don't know, man. I think the thing that makes it hard is that there's not enough layers.
Oh, okay. So you think there should be more layers?
I mean, I don't know. Like, onions have layers.
That is true. That is true.
So do parfaits.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I see your point. I see your point. With okay, so basically, I mean, layers are a good thing, but it gets confusing talking about this. It is somewhat overwhelming. I think we've got a lot on our plate, a lot that we need to get done here.
Yeah.
Oh God. So like
So
slamming into the mic is not one of them.
it's part of our charm. It's all of it is part of our charm. Yeah. So I mean, we've got a theme song, that like kind of bluegrass sort of thing going on. I dig it.
Yeah.
Like we haven't really determined like our purpose. The only thing that because there's the value thing, there's the purpose thing, value, purpose. I don't know what's more important, or if they're the same thing. What kind of positivity are we trying to put out into the world?
Well, I like the idea that
suffering.
Yeah, yeah. I like the idea that I'm kind of like a person that's lost, and that maybe like two people lost together can try to find something. You know what I mean? Like, because I don't feel like I'm like a voice of authority or anything, and so I feel like it's like but I guess there is like, what's the old? Isn't there an old saying that's like blind leading the blind? You never find anything. But.
Yeah, but I mean the thing, well, the partially blind leading the partially blind is different.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's analogous to our situation, because partially blind means you'll never be able to see, so to speak.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like it's the nearsighted helping the farsighted, right? Maybe like
yeah. Well, did you ever see the movie with Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder, where one of them is deaf and the other one is blind?
That sounds familiar, but I'm not sure if I've seen it or not.
It is one of the best comedic films you will ever see. It's fucking hilarious.
What's the title?
I can find it real quick, because I think Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor were only in one movie together.
That doesn't work.
Crap! I'm an idiot. I think they might have been in a lot more movies than that.
Oh yeah, they were in quite a few movies together, I think.
Yeah, I'm a moron. Hold on.
Okay, I am waiting. Okay, so I need to. That's good enough. Sure.
Oh, the movie's called "See No Evil, Hear No Evil."
Okay, I have heard of that. I don't know if I've seen it though.
Yeah, I think that really, if we just like fucking do what we do and talk about what we talk about, eventually something will just kind of come out of this and we'll kind of figure it out. There's a goddamn fruit fly just buzzing around my fucking computer, and it's driving me up the fucking wall.
But I also think that there's like a second benefit to this, that not only are we going to find the topic or purpose that we want, but also we're going to learn the logistics and the ins and outs of creating a podcast by creating this one. So it's like our first run, quote unquote, of our actual podcast will actually be, a second take. So we'll kind of have ironed out a lot of the kinks of just getting stuff up and running.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as far as like the logistics of this podcast, the Metacast podcast, I think I need to grab like, like some sort of intro graphic, like a logo type thing.
Yeah.
And then that will show during the intro song. I'll cut that down. And then as far as actual introductions go, do you like the style where I would introduce both of us, or do you like where I would introduce myself, let you introduce yourself, and then finish the intro?
I prefer you to introduce both of us because, I mean, this is your stream after all. And I think because I'm on here so often, we kind of seem like a duo, and maybe we are, but I mean, for all intents and purposes, I'm kind of just a regular guest. So it makes sense, I think, for you to just kind of introduce both of us in whatever way that you find appropriate. But I think that this is part of what you were talking about with the perfectionism.
Mm-hmm.
These details are really minute, aren't they?
Well, yeah, but there are things that need to be done, right?
Yeah, yeah. But, yeah. I guess that's true. But I just like the you introduce it. This is our podcast. This is what we're doing. Hi, this is me. This is Distance.
Yep.
Party on Wayne, party on Garth. That kind of thing. So yeah, I think being that you're kind of the host, and there's times when I'm not on here, it makes more sense for you to just kind of, it's like I'm Ty, like I'm Distance. No, like I'm just you do your thing, do your thing.
Well, one of my favorite podcasts, they do kind of like a round robin intro like that, but it's usually 4 people. So it's like it kind of works as like the host saying like, "Hi, I'm so and so," and then it's like it goes down the line of them introducing each other, and then it like goes back to the host who then like kind of wraps up the intro. But I don't know how that would flow with just 2 people. So yeah, I agree that maybe it'll work better for just me to do the intro. I didn't want to like talk all over you if you wanted some more time to, I don't know, like it feels weird to like introduce someone. I don't know. I don't know if you would prefer to introduce yourself, but as long as you don't mind, then I don't mind either.
I go with that. It works out well, I think.
Good. Okay. So,
we should actually ask people to tell us in the chat. I mean, they probably don't care about that part, but if you have opinions about anything we're talking about, please like contribute. We'd love for that.
Yeah,
we
definitely.
Need all the goddamn help we can get.
that is very true. Yes. So let's see here. All right. Well then, I mean, I guess like the only really, I need to write an intro for next week. I guess that's the goal that I will set, as far as like something logistically to get done for this.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. But you had some plans of something to talk about, to experiment with as a like a possible topic for the actual podcast, right?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. But this is going to be something that's like a media share, correct?
Yeah. So in this case, it'll be I'm going to share a piece of media with you, which I know will lead to a specific discussion about a very specific topic. I think it might lead to one of 2 topics. I think there's a particular one that we'll end up with.
Okay.
For the record, like Ty has no idea, none whatsoever. He's not been briefed. This is a complete surprise for him.
Yes, and I am nervous about it too.
Surprise me next week with something.
I don't know about that. Maybe we'll see. Why is this not working? Paste duplicate. I'm trying to. Ooh, that did not work at all. Okay. So, before. Oh, that's why. Okay. So before this stream, I took off early today. I had some time to cut at work. I had like 2.5 hours to cut, so I decided to leave at 2:30 today. It worked out well. I got home at like before 3. Started setting up my new streaming PC, and had everything set up and running by, I think it was like 5 o'clock basically. So I looked at the clock at that time, and I was like, I've got 2 hours and 20 minutes until I'm supposed to hit the start stream button. Do I have time to try to get stuff set up on this PC? or do I just leave everything set up on my gaming PC the way it is, because it was ready to stream at that point, the rig that I have been streaming with, and that was the safe route. Basically, I decided, okay, let's get the streaming PC set up. I unhooked everything, moved everything over to the streaming PC, and I'm still not completely set up. Still struggling with everything and freaking out. So that's how my afternoon has been, and that's why I'm kind of super scatterbrained.
Yeah. So before this, like, he's trying to get all this stuff figured out, like freaking out. And I'm like playing Apex Legends, just sitting there listening to him stress and struggle.
I was
like
pretty envious.
Useless.
I definitely was envious of that. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, but for anyone who's never like set up a scene in any kind of streaming software, it's immensely more complicated than I ever understood. That there's so much about watching people's streams and stuff that I just take completely for granted because I don't realize like what goes into it. And I think that happens with like everything, you know, like you never realize how difficult or how much goes into something until you've actually done it yourself. So like we, for instance, Ty actually helped me film some stuff for my YouTube channel this past Sunday. And I was like, oh, it'll only take 30 minutes. But I think Ty has experience with filming that I don't. So when I said 30 minutes, he's like, okay, 2 hours. Because it took us forever to find a good spot and to like get a good angle and to set the scene up right. And Ty's actually a pretty good cameraman with an iPhone.
Hey, thanks, man.
You know, luckily iPhones can, you know, tape in 1080p now and 4K and all that. So,
this is so weird.
But yeah, I think we take a lot of this stuff for granted and don't realize that, you know, a little 10-minute video on YouTube or elsewhere probably took hours upon hours to film and then several more hours to edit and add any number of effects and things like that. So it's nuts, man. It's nuts. So much goes into this crap.
Yeah, there's definitely there's a lot to it.
Yeah. I have a new appreciation for at least the streaming thing. Because oh, sorry, it's a little belch there. It's kind of gross. I should drink more of this so I can belch more.
All right. Well, I have a scene set up here that I think will work for. Yeah, I think will work for. Oh, I don't know what happened. Okay.
Ooh, what's that?
I don't know. There's like a weird.
Is that what Google looks like today?
No, I don't know. There's like a weird effect that was from my overlay. I don't know why that was there. The little baseball thing with the popcorn and the peanuts is how Google looks today.
Oh.
Okay, so I've got a scene kind of rigged up that we could look at here. So what is it? What is it we're gonna watch?
I just DM'd it to you on Discord.
Oh well.
Did you want me to put it in the chat?
That would be better. Discord is on a different PC. I can't easily copy and paste it to that.
Dude, this is like the most ridiculous thing ever.
There we go.
I'm so glad. Wait, hold on. Let me make sure that's the right one. Because I have two of them pulled up. There's one that I want to look at.
Do I trust you enough to like go to this link? I guess it is a YouTube link. So then, like,
Dude, I'm
that's
not going to rickroll you, buddy. I'm not going to rickroll you.
Okay. Ooh, okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. I saw a title. Oh yeah, I do see the title. Okay.
So I guess we want to make sure the audio is coming through the stream too, right?
Yes. We do want to test that. So let's. I'm gonna roll the first like few seconds of the video here just to test that.
Are you tired of the pussification?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, yeah, I'm hearing that in the stream.
Cool. Okay.
So it's a little quiet, but I think it's enough that if you're wearing earbuds, you can hear it.
Yeah, but I can also, I think I can control that over here. Yeah. Should be this. Okay. All right, I am ready. Are you ready to watch this?
Oh yeah, a lot of people are going to find this really ridiculous, and I can't wait.
Well, so what is, if this was a segment, what would you consider this? Like the idea is like we're exploring different concepts, I guess, or what are we doing here?
I think I don't know how you would put it into a title, but it's kind of like it's like media that invokes certain types of conversations.
Okay.
So it could be controversial. It could be ridiculous. It could be, okay, I have like a fruit fly infestation in my fucking apartment. There's like 3 of them everywhere.
That sucks, dude. You might have something dead there.
Fruit flies? Yeah, like a dead pineapple.
Well, like, no, don't flies collect around dead things?
They're the fucking... Ah! Okay, I probably look crazy right now.
That's actually a good way to test if the audio and video is synced well.
Clapping?
Yeah, clap a few times for me. Yeah. Why do you think they use one of those clackers for directors? Yeah, there we go.
Pretty synchronized. Yeah,
All
so I don't know. We'll just call it discussion-provoking media share.
Okay, works for me. Well, let's watch some media and then have a discussion.
Are you tired of the pussification of the American male who's too afraid to defend themselves, saying shit like, violence shouldn't exist? All right, buddy. Say it to that asshole. Get to it, Metacast! Shut the fuck up. Morning. So I like it. I believe that men should enjoy the finer things in life, like badass women and great coffee.
That's straight whiskey.
America. A lot of people have opinions about what it's like to be a police officer, but they've never walked the thin blue line. 5-0 down low.
Oh my god, why didn't he arrest you?
Because we didn't break the fucking law. If you're a guy that thinks a female that lifts weights looks manly, well. I obviously appreciate a glorious beard, but just because you have one doesn't mean you can call a shaved man a bitch. Hey guys. Life is about responsibility. That's why we don't drink and drive. Oh, Uber's here. Where are we going?
We're going to Jimmy John's. Just down the street. I love their sandwiches.
That's funny.
So don't be such an asshole and buy a shotgun. And remember, freedom is found in cycling.
I was wondering if that was for that company that you told me about.
Yep.
Okay.
So I can only imagine.
Whoa.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
Jeez.
it's
Whoa.
clickbait. That was a clickbait thumbnail, obviously. That's actually really funny. They make fun of those douchebags that like have all this like tactical shit. Like it's the asshole at the gun shop that says, "Yeah, man, you know, in case your optic fails, you can flip up these backup sights and you're ready to engage." Like really, like give someone a ring and do that thing. Like I don't know, fucking. There's a video that I saw a while ago about stereotypes for people you meet at the gun shop, and one of them they call that one the commando.
Gotcha. I can see why.
It's just some dickweed trying to like look tough or whatever.
Yeah.
So what are your reactions to that? Like generally speaking.
Well, I mean, I think it's obviously done tongue in cheek to at least some extent. Whether or not they like at least believe. I mean, I guess like with every joke, there's some kernel of truth, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's essentially taking, and well, I can even tell you from their perspective, like the founder of Black Rifle Coffee, and actually, I cannot remember his name because it's weird because Matt Best almost takes like center stage. Evan Hafer, that's his name. So Evan Hafer is the guy that got in the helicopter with him.
Okay.
He's the CEO of Black Rifle Coffee.
Okay.
So in an interview, I don't know where it was him and Matt Best, and they were talking about what they did is they took their perspectives, their points of view, and they basically just sort of exaggerate them.
Yeah.
In sort of a ridiculous fashion.
Yeah.
It's like Metalocalypse and Metalhead. So if you listen to heavy metal music and you've ever watched Metalocalypse, it's a cartoon where metalheads basically make fun of themselves.
Yeah.
Like, you know, someone gets their arm chopped off in the mosh pit and then they throw up their horns like Death Clock rocks as they're bleeding out of their arm, which, I mean, metalheads do shit like that. I mean, it's true. You know, it doesn't make any sense, but people do it. So, I mean, you know, like, I guess what do you think the underlying theme in that video is for you? Like, what are you seeing as like the theme and what it is that they're trying to say from your estimation, I guess?
The theme. Well, that's a tough question. See, that's the whole thing is like it feels like a joke to me. It feels like, that they're kind of making fun of that perspective. But I think I don't know. I feel like I'm reading it wrong. I don't know. Like you're saying, it's an exaggeration of their actual perspective. So there's got to be
What
some.
perspective would you say that is, though?
Well, just like they were saying, like well, let me roll back some of what he said there.
Okay. Yeah.
Shoot, do I still have that copied? Yeah, there we go.
Who's too afraid to defend themselves, saying shit like violence shouldn't exist.
Well, like yeah, like the beginning part there. Like I don't know, just even using the term like pussification and stuff like that makes me feel that it's like joking, and then like it's kind of like picking fun of the idea that maybe we've moved past the need for violence, and which I don't know, I think is a like could be an actual like debate. I don't think it's like obviously true one way or another. Do you agree or?
Well, I guess if we've moved past the need for violence, what does that mean?
Ooh, I don't
What
know.
does moving past the need for violence entail?
Well, yeah, I guess that's is that even possible? Would
This
be a
conversation
good
went a
question.
completely different direction than I expected, but it's actually really cool.
Well, that's just
Like,
like
now we're both surprised, and that's a good thing.
just from like his first line, that was kind of one of the things that it made me think about. But like for instance, so often people kind of think that they know better than others and tend to try to steer them in one direction or another. I think that's done a lot in the world by foreign powers politically influencing others, and I think that America kind of does that a lot. And I think that that's kind of I don't know if that's kind of what he's getting at there, or am I misreading this? I want to hold on. Let me hear what he says in the beginning here one more time. I'm so sorry.
Are you tired of the pussification of the American male who's too afraid to defend themselves, saying shit like violence shouldn't exist? All right, buddy. Say it to that asshole. Get to it, man! Shut the fuck up. Morning.
Yeah, like he makes both. I guess I don't know. He makes both sides of the argument that I could see pretty quickly, or he makes fun of one side and then makes the other side. I guess, but.
So, which side are we saying he's making fun of here? I think I know which one it is, but I'm curious. I think it's fairly obvious, but I'm just curious what you have to say about it.
The idea that the violence shouldn't exist, that it's unnecessary,
which is like it doesn't matter if it should or shouldn't, it does.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I think we all agree that it's unfortunate that people hurt each other. But the thing is that they do, like people intend to harm others on many occasions in many different ways. And there's only one solution to someone trying to harm you, and that's violence.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that the only solution though?
Yep.
I disagree.
Okay, someone grabs you by the throat and squeezes, and they squeeze as hard as they can, and they don't stop, and you can't breathe. What do?
I'd probably be dead. I'd probably die.
Okay.
Yeah, but like up close, yeah.
So the problem doesn't get addressed, and you die.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were to stop yourself from getting killed in that situation, what would you do?
Oh, I mean, there's nothing I could do in that situation, but I was just meaning like in any violent situation. But I guess like yeah, like definite up close combat like that. Yeah, there's nothing.
There's a lot. There's a lot you can do. It's actually physically really easy. It doesn't require a lot of strength. If someone grabs you by the throat like that. But it's like, but that's the thing is like, I think that we should be equipped to know what to do in that situation. Because, I I agree with the statement that there's no virtue in being harmless.
Okay.
Meaning that if you are incapable of harming someone, then not doing so doesn't show any virtue because you haven't the capability to do so anyway. But if you understand how to inflict some sort of damage to another human being and you choose not to in a given situation, that shows some virtue that you were able to avoid doing something harmful to someone. But if you're someone that's incapable of doing so, then it's not virtuous not to, because you couldn't anyway.
Yeah, I can see
Does that
that.
make sense?
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know. I guess to me is like, it doesn't seem like the possibility of needing the knowledge is likely enough to warrant spending the time learning it.
Oh,
I guess.
I mean, like the United States, I mean, it's a very safe country.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
A lot of people might call me naive for saying that, but before you say that, I mean, and some people might not think that. I don't know. Maybe people listening don't think that at all. But anyone that were to say that it's naive to think that, well, I know how to fight, so I learned that just in case. But I also acknowledge the fact that the U.S. is a very safe place to live.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, typically in media of all types, the bad stuff is what typically gets aired. So it may give you the impression that we live in a much more dangerous place than we do.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things where, for me, it's better to need and not have than to have and not need.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Well, it's like the same thing with like people that like open carry in public all the time.
I think I said that backwards. It's better to have and not need than to need and not have. That's what I meant to say. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know what I meant, but
it's like the same with people that like open carry. It's like, for me, I think it's kind of silly. Like it's a right. I understand it's in the Bill of Rights. Like I don't disagree with the Second Amendment or anything. Like that's fine. But it's like when you're carrying your shotgun or your rifle at Walmart, to me it seems unnecessary. It's like
it's just brazen. It's just asshole behavior. So
but at the same time, it makes sense that it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. But what are the percentage chances that a shootout is going to break out at Walmart?
Insanely low. But open carrying is foolish. Like it's just stupid because, well, let's say I'm someone who just hates the idea of existence and wants to just inflict as much harm on life as humanly possible. So then I go to the Walmart, and the argument that I've heard from some people that choose to open carry, where the weapon is exposed on their hip or on their back.
Yeah.
The people that carry an AR-15 in downtown, they call themselves open carry activists. They're just asshats that want to abuse police officers by saying, "Oh, you can't ask for my ID. I've done nothing wrong." And that's true, but why? And please acknowledge the fact that even though it's legal for you to carry your AR-15 on your back downtown, it's abnormal behavior.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the problem with someone like I have an old friend. We don't hang out that much anymore, but he and several of his buddies used to open carry handguns.
Okay.
So they'd have them on their hip visible. But the thing is that I'm in a situation where I've arrived at a place and I want to hurt a bunch of people, and I know someone's carrying a weapon. The argument is now the assailant will be discouraged because they see that you're carrying a gun.
Okay.
You're a fucking superhero, right? Because a lot of people that carry firearms have this superhero idea.
Yeah.
So they're discouraged. They were going to go and shoot up this public place, but now they see you're carrying a gun. They're not going to do it. That's not what's going to happen. They're going to sneak up behind you and they're going to shoot you first. And you're going to die. And then they're going to light up the rest of the fucking people in that area. And something bad's going to happen. And Europe will have another fucking reason to make fun of us.
Yeah.
And I made a really crass joke to a friend recently. He was like, "Hey man, I'm thinking about buying an AR and I've never bought one before. What's the background check like for that?" I'm like, "You go in there, you give them your ID, they put your name in a computer, you're shooting innocent people in no time."
Ooh, geez.
Which I said that in jest, obviously.
Yeah.
But it is kind of funny to me that there isn't really a lot like that you have to do, like, I mean, any rifle actually,
Mm-hmm.
that you can purchase any rifle regardless of the purpose you intend it for. Because for me, I look at an AR-15 and I'm like, oh, that's a fun thing to take to the range. They're a lot of fun to shoot. They really, really are. I don't think of it as for hunting. People do hunt pigs with AR-15s though.
Really?
Fun fact. Yeah.
Okay.
AR-15
is that full auto or semi-auto?
It's semi.
Okay.
So I mean, you wait.
Full auto is illegal, right?
Well, you have to have, I think it's called a class 3 permit, and you have to go through a whole bunch of background checks and shit like that. I think it costs a considerable amount of money, and then you can purchase a fully automatic weapon, but you can't just go into any gun store and buy one.
It's usually like someone that's ex-military, right? Like not just everyone like has.
I mean, there's a lot of people that have never been in the military that own a few fully automatic weapons. I mean, one of the guys that I work with, he has a good friend that has several. Actually, I think his buddy might be a Marine. But that's not like a prerequisite.
Gotcha.
But I mean, you don't have to have been ex-military, but a lot of people just. But dude, seriously, like the background check is pretty fucking stringent, and it takes a very long time for that shit to go through.
Okay.
Like I work with a guy that spent. I'll have to ask him, but I think he spent close to $10K, getting a permit to have a suppressor put on his semi-automatic MP5. But no, he spent all the money because he had to have a permit to have a short barrel rifle. Because if it's, I forget what the length is. Maybe it's 16 inches. If it's shorter than 16 inches, then it's considered an SBR.
Okay.
And you have to have a permit for that specifically because it's easy to conceal.
Gotcha. Okay.
And they also had to get another permit to put the suppressor on it. But it's actually really cool. He sent me some videos of him shooting it, and it goes like click, click, click. It's fucking crazy. It doesn't even sound like a gun.
That's cool. It said the line you said of like I forgot exactly how you worded it, but it was like he's like buying a suppressor for his MP5. That just sounds like a video game to me. Like that's so crazy. Like I know it's also real life, but that I don't know.
I mean, a lot of people are familiar with firearms because of video games.
Yeah, true.
And some people get into firearms because of video games. It's kind of weird, actually.
Yeah, I'm sure that.
I find it to be pretty strange. Not there's anything wrong with it, but how do we get on the gun talk anyway?
Well, I mean, he does like. I think in the beginning he does have like a gun, right?
Tired of the pussification of the
yeah, I mean, it does like he starts with a gun in hand, so it's not even really that off. And he's wearing a gun shirt too, so it's not even that off topic. But
there's a lot of guns in there.
Yeah, true. Well, I think that's kind of. I mean, the whole idea, though. I think that. So, like, I mean, the violence discussion. That's kind of like a red herring.
Shut the fuck up.
Sorry, excuse me.
So I like it.
The core, though.
Men should enjoy the finer things in life, like badass women and great coffee.
That's straight whiskey.
America. A lot of people have opinions about what.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I get like, is it? What is the discussion that you want to have? Is it about his idea of being an American, his idea of being a man, or his idea of being an American man? Is it?
So actually, there's a lower quality video that I don't know if it uses like a different codec, but in the other one, it's called "How to Be an American Man." So I think that title is actually more provoking of discussion. The quality is kind of shitty, but because for me, when I saw the video the first time, it was the shittier quality one called "How to Be an American Man," and I was like this is utterly ridiculous. Like I laughed my ass off like the whole time. I was like, this is fucking hilarious. Are you just like this ridiculous hyperbole?
But are you saying it's actually a different video, or it's the same video with
the same video? It's just shit quality.
Gotcha. Okay.
I just posted it in there. It's just the title is called "How to Be an American Man" as opposed to an American.
Gotcha.
Actually, it was reposted by another person, and in that he titled it "Coffee Commercial Shows How to Be an American Man."
Okay.
So
gotcha.
apparently somebody saw that video and their impression was that's what they're trying to tell you, and then they put it on their YouTube channel.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that was their impression of it. That was the intent, I guess, that they perceived from the video.
So the original link that I'm on here that just says how to be American, is that actually from Black Rifle Coffee, or is that just another mirror link from someone else?
That's from Matt Best, who's basically their marketing guy.
Okay, gotcha.
And that's on Matt Best's channel. But I mean,
Yeah.
obviously they're advertising Black Rifle Coffee.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I guess I don't know I don't know how I feel about that. I definitely don't feel that at this point it makes much sense to say that anything is like how to be American.
Yeah, I mean, what the fuck does that even mean, really? Well,
Exactly.
what do we think it means?
Well, yeah, exactly. Like to me, like America's become such a diverse, like melting. I hate using the word melting pot, but it's like I can't think of a better term. But you know what I mean? It's like there's no like oh fuck, what is the term? I don't want to use like Native American, Aboriginal, I guess. Like usually that's about like, you know, the original does that specific indigenous? Yeah, that's a better term. Yeah, there's nothing that's like indigenous to America, right? Like we've all like brought little chunks of culture from the different places we came from.
And not just culture. Domestic cats, invasive species. Pigs, invasive species. They're not from North America.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's come here. So yeah, and there is a lot about the culture that's sort of changed. I mean, and it really depends what area you're in because it's such a large country.
Yeah.
It's easy for Norway to have a it's easy for Norway to have a homogenous culture because they're ethnically pretty much boring.
Yeah.
And there's not really I don't know that there's really a whole lot of immigration in Norway because like who fucking cares about Norway? I mean, they have black metal. That's it. Dimmu Borgir are from Norway. That's
are
pretty
they?
much it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're from Norway. I'm actually going to look that up because I want to make sure I'm not a complete idiot. I mean, I'm at least a partial idiot. But yeah, I mean, it's there are a lot of different types of people that like, you know, live in the U.S. So it's like, you know, what is that? What does that mean? Like being American? And to me, it just means living in the U.S. and being a citizen. Well, that's what being American is.
And just like you brought up, the U.S. is so large that, like, I mean, if you go to Miami versus Seattle versus New York City, you know, like you're going to three very different places. They're going to have three very different feelings that the people are going to act very differently in three different places. So it's like, it's weird. And those are all Americans. All three of those are American locations. So it's weird to say like how to be American would have a, I guess there would be overlap between the three though, right?
I mean, I would think that there's going to be some things that are probably pretty similar.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's the interesting thing to me is that there's a lot of values that I think people think of as being like distinctly American, which isn't really true.
Mm-hmm.
Another interesting thing. I was talking to somebody recently about like sometimes in jest, I'll say something like I've got some coffee. And they're like, what do you put in your coffee? And I'll be like, I drink my coffee black like a goddamn American. And but I'm just like being stupid. Like, I'm just kidding. Like, you know, and then even like yesterday, someone I work with had like, they asked me a question about their phone. I don't really get paid to work on their phone. I was like, is that an Android? They're like, yeah. It's like, why the fuck don't you just buy an Apple like a goddamn American? You know, like, and I'm just saying it to be stupid. Like, I'm saying it in jest. Like, it's intended to be kind of ironic, I guess.
Yeah.
But the thing that I was talking about with, I don't remember who it was in particular, but I said something to somebody about like, you know, oh, well, in the South, only the South is America to us.
Pretty much.
Things that Southerners do, that's American.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So like if someone asks me, like, you know, they find out I'm like multiracial or whatever, and they'll be like, oh, that's interesting. I'm like, but you know, I mean, I'm American, you know, barbecue, guns, and Pantera. You know, that's me.
Yeah.
And also kind of saying that in jest.
Yeah,
But to some degree, like, but those are pretty kind of Southern things, you know, barbecue and
definitely.
guns, like, and then also like Pantera is a groove rock or groove metal band, but I'd almost call that Southern metal, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they are.
Did you ever hear Maylene and the Sons of Disaster?
Yeah, I've heard some of their stuff. Not a lot, but
Yeah, you know who their singer is, right?
he was it one of the guys from the Chariot or from?
Dallas. He was in Norma Jean.
Oh, it was that. That's right.
Yeah. Not Norma Jean.
No, he was in Under Oath.
I didn't
Yeah.
say Norma Jean, Under Oath. Sorry,
Yeah.
you said the Chariot and I had Norma Jean on the brain. So yeah, he was in Under Oath. But that's very like Southern rock music to me.
Oh, very, yeah. All the guitar
so-
grooves are like very Southern, yeah.
And some of the subject matter too. Like he says, you know, I travel this country far and wide, but I'll always be a son of the South, like that kind of thing.
Gotcha, yeah, yeah.
But it is interesting to me because I think the idea of like some people just don't really give a shit about like being American or like whatever the fuck that means.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah,
but one
I
thing-
don't. I think that I'm definitely someone that does not, that doesn't occur to me at all.
Yeah, because to me it's like I live here, so that makes me American.
Yeah,
I'm a legal citizen. So yeah. And that's all you really have to do to be American. You just fucking move here and live here and contribute some stuff to the people around you, and there you go.
exactly. And I'm kind of under the same opinion with how to be a man. Like I don't think that it's like you really need to. I mean, of course there's qualities that can be like how to be a good person or how to be a good man, but I think that it's
just
like
basically being an adult that happens to have a Y chromosome.
exactly. I think it's just like
act
it's
act like a fucking grown up. That's pretty much it.
yeah, it's a function of age and biology basically at that point. Because even like you're saying though, it's like even someone that is not at all mature, or you know, like someone that does not stand up for themselves, is not at all mature, does not take care of themselves. But it's a 60-year-old human male. That's still a man, right?
How are we defining man?
Well, that's I guess the question I'm asking. To me, it's defined basically just as like a human male past a certain age.
Yeah, I mean that's a reasonable definition to me. It sounds like a man to me. But you know, I guess there's these ideas of like yes, he is a man, but is he a real man? You know?
Well, exactly, yeah. But I mean, with that,
guy from the Old Spice commercial.
with that same vein, people say, you know, like how many times have you heard a woman say, like, I'm not looking for a boy, I'm looking for a man? And I think that I don't think
between a child and an adult.
Yeah, but I don't think they're meaning it just as a age cutoff. Like, oh, anyone over 21 it means they're a man. Anyone, but you know, it's like I think it's a maturity level they're looking for, or like a place in life, or something like that, rather than just like I think my definition was kind of cut and dry, more kind of objective and biological.
Yeah.
But I do think it is a word with a lot of baggage that a lot of people do say it meaning something in particular.
Yeah, and you know, I would say that a lot of the traits that many people associate with like being a man, like I think are positive for everybody.
Exactly. Yeah.
But one thing that you'll notice if you look historically, typically women like I will be very specific here. Cisgender biological females with two X chromosomes who identify as female. Though those who identify in that fashion throughout time, who are quite rugged or tough, are always kind of accepted in some way.
Okay.
But I feel like males who exhibit more like
well, I don't know, accepted by who? Like you mean just
people in general? I mean, like I'm talking like 1930s, 1940s here.
Okay.
Like I mean, at that time there were pretty stringent standards across the majority of people in the West of like what is a man and what is a woman.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So the idea is like people that males like a person with an X and a Y chromosome with a penis, like males, if they seemed more like gentle or delicate, they typically were not really accepted. Yet somehow, like, women that were rugged were.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, but it's unfortunate because neither of those types of qualities are bad by themselves.
Yeah. Well,
They're just different.
I don't know. I maybe I'm getting hung up on a point here, but I would wonder if those women felt accepted, or because I would see like I don't know. I'm not speaking from experience, but it seems like a lot of women that were seen as, you know, either rugged or tomboyish or whatever didn't feel like accepted by their peers a lot and were kind of, you know, outcasted. Oh shit! Thanks for the follow, D. Appreciate it.
I would say that, you know, currently, you know, I work with a lot of different kinds of people, and I think that because I sort of look Caucasian, and for all intents and purposes, I guess I am.
Okay.
That there's this idea that there's some safety in saying certain things to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, telling me, calling the stocky woman that works in the lab who has short hair a dyke, apparently is okay to say to me, because I'm fine with that. You know, yeah, it's all good. You know, it's like you obviously you feel the same way because, you know, you're a white guy, I'm a white guy.
I hate that shit, dude.
People and say shit like that, you know, and I'm just like, well, this is an uncomfortable situation because I work with you, and that was sort of ridiculous.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll be like, well, what do you mean when you say dyke? What does that mean to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
When you say that, I'm thinking of like one of those like dam things, like with the bricks and the stuff.
Yeah.
And that person is not an inanimate object that blocks water.
Yeah, I love making people be like awkwardly specific whenever they're trying to be subtly either racist or sexist or, you know, homophobic or something. I love like really drawing it out of them, like pulling teeth. Like, oh, hold on, what do you mean by that? I don't get it. Like,
yeah. But when we talk about women that are like, you know, more rugged or whatever the hell you want to call it, I guess that there's some ways in which they really aren't necessarily, like, I guess, accepted. But
yeah,
for me, like, I think of being tough and resilient as a good trait for anybody.
Okay. Yeah.
And you know, and I don't think that that's like something that's unique to being like male or whatever.
Well, exactly, and that's what's strange is that there are so many there's a lot of baggage to those ideas of being manly or being womanly or being masculine or being feminine, and it's strange that it's like, just like you're saying, so many of the things should be just traits that make you a good person. And I don't know, so often it confuses me why it has to be like, I don't know if it's just the wording that I don't like, but it's like when someone words it as like, oh, this will make me a good man, or this will make me a better woman, or things. It's like, well, just make you a better person. And I don't know why my ears perk to that, like whenever it has to be specific to the gender or whatever.
They're probably saying those words just because of the person downstairs mix-up that they're talking about.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's not necessarily relevant to whether or not you're a good this or that, but just being a good human. And if it's the whole idea of like, be a man, like be an adult that happens to have junk.
Yeah.
And I think that that's kind of like I feel like when people say that, though, I think they're being more specific than like what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
being an adult that has junk, but
yeah,
it's really funny because the whole idea of masculinity, like, it's pretty fucking subjective.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, like what is the what is the actual textbook definition of masculinity?
Okay, I'll pull that shit up.
Oh, I got it. I'm already there.
You're pulling up your own shit. I can't believe it.
Now that I've got, you know, two computers, I could do this, man. All right, so apparently masculinity, qualities or attributes regarded as characteristic of men.
That tells us fucking nothing.
Yeah, absolutely nothing.
Here, I just looked up femininity, qualities or attributes regarded as characteristic of women.
Yep. Yeah, it means absolutely nothing. Having qualities associated with men. Okay, of, relating to, or can no, that's the exact same thing. Oh, D, thank you for the bits, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. So yeah, everything that I'm seeing here, it just literally specifically it doesn't go into the qualities, but it refers to qualities that are usually associated with a man.
Yeah, but it doesn't really tell us like what that is. Like it's just like typically associated with, but like okay, but what is that stuff?
On this page, there are synonyms, and like robustness, toughness, ruggedness, muscularity. That's a lot of these are like vigor, strength, maleness is one. I don't even know if that's an actual word. Maleness sounds strange, but like robustness. I don't know. Like I'd.
Hey. I prefer my men robust.
But is that something that you would say is valuable as a trait?
Being robust?
Yeah.
I think I know what robust means, but let's just strong and healthy, vigorous. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Being robust is good.
I guess when I think of robust, it's like more in like robust in conversation, I guess, or like someone's personality being robust. But maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of that in the wrong way.
Vigorous.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's a weird idea to me because I feel like God, this is a weird topic. So there are gender roles that are associated with the sexes normally, right? So it's like being male is a sex.
Yeah.
But as far as the idea of being manly or being masculine, that's more associated with the gender, not the sex, right? Like the gender roles, like
so oh man, this is weird. Like I'm on a public forum talking about something that some people find controversial, and I'm just realizing how fucking uncomfortable this is now.
Oh yeah. Hey, you started it. You're the one that brought this video.
Yeah, it's cool. So oh god damn it, my YouTube channel's gonna go under now. Get all the hate, they're gonna fucking whatever. Okay, so I'm looking at a definition of gender on dictionary.com.
Mm-hmm.
Either of two sexes, male and female, especially when considered with reference to social and cultural differences rather than biological ones. Okay. The term is also used more broadly to denote a range of identities that do not correspond to established ideas of male and female.
Yeah, because it's more like behavioral, right? Like I guess the sex is more a biological, like more what you are, versus gender is more of a performance or behavior.
I guess. It's weird because at some point the two terms became separated because at one point they were synonyms. So sex and gender at some point were used interchangeably. It's entirely possible that was incorrect. Because people use the word rhetoric improperly all the time.
Well, I mean, even when the terms were interchangeable, even then there was still the terms weren't the same, but there were still the ideas of there being gender roles or gender behavior was different than just who you were. There may have only been like two genders at that time that were recognized or that people spoke about, but it was still like the behavior was kind of separate from the biology, I would say.
I guess I'm talking more like colloquially, like used by the common folk.
Yeah.
That was something that was introduced to me within the last 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
And it may have predated that. But I at some point, those terms were used interchangeably, whether or not it was correct. Like sex and gender, people just talked about them like they were the same thing.
Yeah.
And perhaps they were not.
Yeah.
But I believe that they were considered by everyone using the words that they meant the same thing.
Well, either that or, I mean, sometimes definitions just change. The social definition of that just could be different now than it was decades ago.
Like, because dumb means something completely different than it used to.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the old definition was not quite so nice, actually.
Yeah.
But what we use it as now colloquially isn't quite so bad. I mean, it's still pretty pretty shitty, but it's not like derogatory toward a certain individual with a physical disadvantage or a physical inability to hear or speak.
Exactly. Yeah. Now it's like a slight insult, like a friendly insult almost. Like you normally don't call someone dumb if they do something actually dumb.
Yeah, I mean, you might, but then you'd be Steve Jobs. God rest his soul.
Yeah.
I think that there's a. So I mean, it's like.
Yeah.
I think that. Because I hate the fact that I can't be honest right now. I can't.
Why can you not be honest?
Because people will hate what I have to say.
Well, that's not good.
Doesn't make it objectively bad. Just means I think a lot of people won't like it.
Well, I guess we could move on to something else then. Let me see what this the next section that he talks about is.
If you're a guy that thinks a female that lifts weights looks manly, well. I obviously appreciate a glorious beard, but just because you have one doesn't mean you can call a shaved man a bitch. Hey guys.
Yeah. I like that he makes that point too, which I feel like is I don't know. There's a lot of like gatekeeping that goes on where like you're only a real man if you have a beard.
Yeah, like, and that's become like a marketing thing for a lot of companies now, like beard this and beard club that and grow a beard. Actually, Psycho Stick has a song called "Grow a Beard."
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're the ones that. Did I ever send you that song titled "So Period Heavy Period"?
Maybe.
Like
that sounds familiar.
So heavy.
Yeah,
Psycho Stick made that. They make a lot of like joke, like metal songs.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I think I like the fact that he said the thing about like, if you think that a woman that lifts weights looks manly, the bikini thing like was a little unnecessary.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of people like say stupid shit like women in the gym, like there's something like wrong with that, or like, oh, don't lift heavy, you're gonna get big. Like what?
Yeah.
Just everybody lift heavy weights. Like everyone lift heavy weights.
Well, yeah, it is kind of silly that I don't know if it's because all right, so there's like, there's certain female lifters out there that
are on anabolic steroids,
that are obviously on steroids and claim that they are not. And I wonder,
Bailey, we're talking about you. That's right, I said it.
That's definitely one of them. Yeah, I wonder if that so like in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with steroids. I don't have any problem with them. I have a problem with lying about them because I feel like when you do that, I feel like it gives the impression to people that it's a lot easier to get super jacked like that, and that it can deter people from lifting because they're scared that, oh, if I pick up a weight once, I'm all of a sudden going to turn into the Hulk.
And it can also discourage people and they'll quit because they're not getting to that point.
Exactly. Yeah. It works both ways. Yeah. That's a really good point. Yeah. Yep.
And it really bothers me because like you can see, oh, hold on. There's another thing. So in addition to, what do they call it? So there's anabolic effects that steroids have.
Yeah.
But there's also androgenic effects.
Okay.
Where they make your jawline more square.
Oh,
they make your voice deeper.
Yeah.
So then there's another thing. So you're taking synthetic testosterone and you are a biological woman and it is changing your physical appearance.
Yeah.
And that physical appearance looks more qualities or attributes regarded as characteristic of men.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point you just brought up there too, is I guess there's multiple layers to masculine, right? It can be physical or in like behavior or attitude or whatever. They're like completely separate ideas.
But there are, and this doesn't change anything necessarily, but there are certain outliers. Like you'll see males that have wider hips than usual.
Yeah.
You may see, and when I say males, I mean sex.
Yeah.
Biological sex, and you'll see biological females who have broader shoulders than others.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, actually, I find that attractive. I just kind of do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And it actually bothers me when people are made to feel insecure, made to feel inadequate because of certain ways that they look.
Yeah, exactly.
That bothers me very much.
Yeah, me too.
But it's like the idea that like, so having a beer gut is masculine, or having biceps that are big is masculine?
Yeah, I don't. It's a subjective term that means something different to the person interpreting it, right?
Yeah, I think that's true. Because it's funny because I took some time. I asked several people I worked with of different ages, different sexes, different jobs, questions about this whole thing, like about what makes a man good, what makes a woman good, are these traits interchangeable? Like, is there a big difference between what makes a man good versus a woman? And a lot of people pretty much told me, I mean, not really.
Yeah, as far as
but these are people that you wouldn't expect. Like I talked to like a Republican in his late 60s.
Well, but with the term "good" on there, though, it's traits that are positive. You're asking about positive traits. If you were to just ask them, what makes someone a real man? What makes someone a real woman? Do you think that answer would vary? Do you think there would be less overlap there?
I don't think that the term "real woman" is commonly used. I don't hear it much.
Natural Woman is the Shania Twain song, I guess. That's but
you make me feel like a woman.
Yep. Oh, that's the one. Yeah, you make me feel like a natural woman. Who was that? I thought that was Shania Twain.
Aretha Franklin.
Same thing.
Okay.
But yeah,
I Aretha Franklin's vocal style is much more textbook.
Yeah.
A little more supported, a little deeper. Sorry.
But no, you are right. Like you don't hear that term very, very much anymore. Well, and also, I mean, it's like, okay, on the other side of that, you hear the term like toxic masculinity, like the traits that are associated with manliness can get to the point where they're toxic. I've never heard the idea of toxic femininity. It's not like the traits associated with females get to the point where they're toxic, I guess.
Yeah, I think that with no one's used the term, I don't think, but I think that, and it doesn't really apply necessarily to femininity or whatever, but I think that there's ways in which some females are made to feel that they should look different or be a certain way. Like one thing that drives me up the motherfucking wall, this whole thigh gap thing. Are you familiar with this?
Yeah.
What the actual fuck?
Dude, I've skipped so many meals to get a thigh gap, and I've finally got one going.
You have to have a specific bone structure for that to be a thing.
Yeah.
Like it's not even, there's nothing, anyone who makes that a goal, that's fucking ridiculous. And it pisses me off that I think actually, no, I'm going to look this up. I'm fairly certain that the Chive has a thigh gap section.
The what? The Chive?
The Chive, you never heard of this? Keep Calm and Chive On.
I've heard of it. I've never actually been there. I don't know what it actually is.
Bet you don't watch porn either.
No, I do.
Yeah, just 100 thigh gaps we thought you'd enjoy.
What? That's
strange. The name of this page.
Okay.
The best gaps of the year.
So we're not going there on stream. But
no, we're not.
No.
It's like, but the thing is like it pisses me off that somehow someone decided that was like attractive or whatever.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be a goal of anyone's, because you really do have to have a specific type of bone structure. Your hips and the shape of your femur and the way that the joint fits into your hip has to be a very specific way for that to even be possible for you.
Gotcha.
And I
Okay.
think it's utterly ridiculous to make that some kind of thing. So I don't think that it's necessarily like this idea. There's something toxic about some of the things that some women are made to feel like they need to do or need to be.
Yes.
There's a song.
But that's not the trait itself. It's like it's the pressure they're feeling from society or the people around them, right?
Yeah, but isn't that kind of what toxic masculinity is? Because the thing is like, I
Yeah,
fucking hate this
maybe,
whole
yeah.
society thing. Like, because I talked to a bunch of people and I didn't get any kind of pressures to never cry or to always be really tough or to be buff
Yeah.
or feel like if I'm below 6'2", then I'm not a man.
Yeah.
So I asked a lot of these people, well, what is this society that's telling us we need to be this thing? And like, it's a group of people, but it's poorly defined.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, and this is purely anecdotal, this is just people around me, but I can tell you, I live in the South and I work for a company that's populated with lots of very conservative, very righty kind of people. And that's typically who we associate with these kinds of thoughts, but none of them seem to feel that way. Like one of the guys I work with, the most ridiculous response I got was, hey, have you seen Jack Ryan or read the books? And I was like, I've seen the show. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He said, to me, that's a man. I was like, okay, well, I'll watch more than the first episode and figure out what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, that's a very specific answer that I don't know what that person really meant by that then.
That was the silliest one I got.
Okay.
But most of them were just like, I don't know. I really should have like written things down and all that. Or, I mean, I wasn't going to take like voice recording at my place of work. Cause this is just like, hey, you got a minute kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I have some weird questions. It's like, oh, I wouldn't expect anything less from you. But I think that the thing that pisses me off about the idea of toxic masculinity is when you hear, man, I remember when Tucker Carlson was some goofy little kid with like a bow tie.
Yeah.
Yep. And now he's like a sensationalizing dickweed. But the what happens is you hear these people that fail to understand and don't put effort into understanding other people.
Okay.
And so certain individuals, toxic masculinity. So you're saying that masculinity is toxic? No. This is a very specific thing.
Yeah.
When I say toxic masculinity, it's a very specific thing. And now that we're at that point, I would like to share with you another video.
Okay.
That's made by the same person.
Oh, really? Okay. Cool. That worked well.
So actually, before crap, can I just be right back?
Yeah,
Can you
sure,
get
of
a little
course, of course.
vampy?
Yeah, no, of course.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm completely in the same vein where to me, I don't know if it's like a different thing to me or if toxic masculinity are so we've gotten to the point where we've established that I guess the definition of masculinity are these traits that are normally associated with men. I guess that, that comes to whoever's defining it then gets to pick what those traits are, apparently. But some of those traits, like we talked about, like the robustness, the things like that, some of those are the things that, when turned to their extreme, can be off-putting or downright negative. It's to me, it's like the same idea of so confidence is a good thing. Confidence to me is a spectrum that cocky lies on. Cocky is a bad thing. I don't think there's a switch that flips between confidence and cocky. I think that it's a spectrum that slides from one to the other. And I think that that's kind of like the same idea with the how masculinity or these traits that could possibly be positive can be dialed up or slide to an amped up version that is toxic. That to me makes sense. But I'm not sure though. I'm not sure if we've like established what those traits really are, or if they're actually agreed upon. It seems like there really is up to the interpretation of whoever's making that decision. And the way that I kind of like want this to go, I guess, would be making the decision of if is that a trait that I think is beneficial or applicable that I would want to apply to myself. Is it something that I think would be something that I want to strive to?
I'm back.
Hey, welcome back, man.
Sorry.
No worries. So what I was saying there was, I guess, like, well, I kind of hate to like make the point again, but I think I'll try to make it brief. So to me, like, with masculinity and toxic masculinity, it's like the same traits can be at the extreme can become toxic. And I likened it to the idea of, like, to me, confidence is a spectrum that cocky lies on. Confidence is a good thing. Cocky is a bad thing. I don't think that there's like a hard switch between the two. I think that that there's a spectrum that as you slide confidence up to the extreme, it becomes cockiness and can become toxic. And I think that some of the traits that we consider masculine can be the same thing. When they're amplified to this extreme, they can become negative.
I think that it's funny. I was about to take us on a rabbit hole, but I also realized there's something analogous about this. So I think that cocky is not an extreme of confidence. I think they're two different things.
Oh, okay.
And
okay.
I can make an analogy to the subject. I think it might be a shit one, but I'll try to make one.
Okay.
So I've recently come to define confidence as an internal understanding of who you are, whereas cockiness is an external representation of your own insecurities.
Okay.
Because like, and it's the same thing with like, there's masculinity, and then there's like machismo.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
One is like could be a good thing, maybe depending upon how you define it.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is just fucking ridiculous. And mostly done to be funny.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I think, like I say a lot of.
I hope.
If I say anything macho or whatever, I'm doing it to be funny because I think it's like something humorous.
Yeah, yeah.
I would say it's not even like. I think they're two different things.
Okay.
But the problem with masculinity is that it's just poorly defined.
Exactly.
Obviously, the fucking dictionary doesn't even tell us what the hell it means.
Yeah. It basically, like, that's kind of what I was talking about while you were gone. Was it sucks that it's like I guess it's a bunch of traits that would normally be considered associated to men. That association or those traits, it's up to the person reading the definition or the person trying to make this decision. There's no list of traits. It's just kind of, it's very subjective.
Yep, typically associated with, and it's kind of funny to me. But I think that there's every human is very complex. I think we got just a little tiny bit of everything.
Yeah.
But I did actually think of something. Whilst I was urinating.
Okay, what's that?
So I keep saying this thing: people being made to feel this or made to feel that, made to feel inadequate, made to feel like they need to look this way or that way. But one thing that I usually say is no one can make you feel anything. So something that I've said quite often is that when we were growing up, like, do you remember back when answering machines were on tapes?
Yes.
So my dad, it's kind of funny that he was worried about this, but my dad's from India. I think I might have mentioned that before. Mm-hmm. So when we had like one of those little micro tape recorder things, like on a landline, someone would call you and then the answering machine would pick up and it would record your conversation.
Yeah.
So my mom and my dad were having a conversation and my dad was like, I'm really worried. I mean, like, he's painting his nails black and he's wearing eyeliner and his hair is spiky and he's wearing this weird clothing. And my mom, just to fuck with him, goes, well, clearly he's gay.
Yeah.
My dad was like, wait, what?
They knew.
Honestly, like
they knew.
But I mean, honestly, like, who gives a shit? First of all, but she
Yeah.
was just pushing his fucking buttons, and I thought that was funny.
Yeah, yeah.
But to me, like, growing up, whenever anybody told me that, like, I needed to be man up or be more masculine or whatever, my response was "fuck you."
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's a good response.
Like, I'm me, fuck off. Like, you know, if there's anything that you see about me that's like objectively bad and you can explain to me how it's bad, or I can maybe realize how it's a bad thing, then I will change that. But if you just don't like it or it makes you uncomfortable, well, then fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, who fucking cares? Like, I don't feel any kind of way about anything because you think that I should be a certain way that I'm not. Like, just fuck off. Fuck off.
Yeah. Well, but I do feel like, specifically like man up, that's used in a more positive way a lot of times. And I think that I've even heard women say that to each other, just talking about, like, you know, trying to get the guts up to do something. You know, it's like, oh, man up and do it. Like, and I think that that's interesting that it's like those traits then, like the whole point you brought up earlier, the traits that make someone a good man are just the traits that make someone a good person. It's not like there should not be a divide there, really. That like, yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
But, and you know, did I tell you about the conversation? I don't know if I said it on the air or not, but the conversation I had with those guys at work when I wore a pink shirt to work.
Yeah, I do remember that.
I don't know if I said it on the air or not, but I'll say it now. So you've heard it, but you know, other people might. Well, some people might not have. I don't know. Did I say it on the air? Who fucking knows?
If so, it was during Apex. Like, it's a good time to retell the story.
So I thought we were just past this, like giving guys shit for wearing pink. Like, who fucking cares? But I'm the type that, you know, I try to push people and make them uncomfortable whenever they say something ridiculous. So I was someone I work with, we purchased a tablet PC and some equipment to go with it. And before I tell you this, I'm not affiliated with brands at all. We're not getting paid for this. This is not a plug. So I happen to have a UAG phone case, and I purchased a UAG cover for this tablet. And I was telling them, yeah, it's a really good cover. It's the same one I have for my phone. So I pulled my phone out and dropped it on the concrete floor in the warehouse, just to be like, yeah.
It didn't break either, right?
Nope, not at all. Yeah, thank God.
1 second.
There's a moment.
This podcast like, brought to you by UAG Cases.
They better pay us some fucking money for that. So then, like, after that, he was like, oh man, why don't you drop it face down? I was like, what? He's drop it face down. Like, he's like, man up. I was like, wait.
Yeah.
What? I was like, man up and do something stupid? Yeah. Like, that would have worked when I was 15, buddy. And then he goes like, well, I guess there's no point in telling a guy in a pink shirt to man up. And I was like, I'm sorry, is my shirt making you feel a little bi-curious? And then they were like, well, I have a feeling some of them were feigning ignorance, but he was like, what's that? I was like, it means you're trying to figure out if you want to fuck dudes or not. By the way, I don't really know that we have a very good human resources department.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like we have no human resources departments.
I mean, I work with a bunch of like pretty thick-skinned people anyway. Like, you know, it's an audience that's not typically going to fucking flies. God damn it. It's an audience that's not typically going to be offended. And if they do, they just will act like they're not.
Yeah.
Or they just won't even really care. They'll just be like, I'm offended by that, but fuck it. So then another guy, he just goes, and what I said was tongue in cheek after this. He goes, well, I don't travel in those circles. It was like another dude. He was like older.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, they're just gay people, man. They're fucking harmless. And I just walked out of the warehouse office. But it was just this moment where man up was being used in sort of like a ridiculous fashion to pressure someone to do something stupid. But yeah, there's plenty of times where I agree with you. There's plenty of times where people use the phrase in a way that's not necessarily destructive.
Well, that made me think of two things. So like, it made me wonder. I mean, my whole aesthetic is like purple and pink. Is that like, do you feel like that? Do I come off as less manly then, or is that like? I've never considered that until you really started talking about that. But it's like I've kind of chose purple and pink as like this entire color layout and everything that represents my brand and my stream and everything. So is that, I don't know, is that like a feminine color scheme, I guess?
I mean, I'll put it to you this way. I don't give a fuck.
I don't either. It's like never
I
occurred
mean,
to me.
we
but-
don't. We
Yeah.
don't. So, but if anybody else does, you know what they can do?
What's that?
They can fuck off.
Oh man, I was gonna try to hit the right sample. They can suck on.
These nuts.
Nailed it!
There you go. Brilliant.
Holy
Well,
shit!
So I think that the whole idea that like that men aren't supposed to cry or whatever, that's just
Yeah.
fucking stupid, and that's like that old toxic thing because that's
Mhm.
not good for anyone. And I made the mistake of I have an aunt who is old enough. She was old enough to be my grandmother. So
Okay.
when she died, it was like my mother was losing like a second mom, and I never knew my
Mhm.
grandparents. So it was
Gotcha.
almost like I was losing a grandmother, and I had this
Gotcha.
whole idea of like staying strong during the funeral, and I didn't shed a fucking tear. But I
What age was
realized
that? How old were you? What age was that?
That was a couple years ago.
Okay.
I was like 4 years ago. I was 29.
Gotcha. Okay.
Or
God
maybe
damn, you're
28, I
old.
can't remember.
Jesus, you are so
Yeah.
fucking old. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
I know. I'm gonna die soon. I need to write my will.
Yeah, probably.
But I had this whole idea of like,
Can I have that bike?
Huh?
Can I have that bike in your will? Or are you already giving that bike to someone?
that one.
Yeah, I like that one, man.
I mean, the frame's too small for you, but yeah, you can have it.
I'll just jack the seat up really high. It'll be fine.
Dude, your dad can have the mountain bike, which
Sweet.
is way too fucking heavy to hang on the wall. And the road bike, fuck you. I'm getting buried with actually, I'd rather get buried with the mountain bike, but I think your dad would get some good use out of it.
But I think you
but
did
I'll-
bring up a good point though, tangentially though, is like the example of using man up as a way to get someone to do something stupid. That is one of those traits that's kind of considered associated with men then, or masculinity, is doing something without thinking. Kind of like this just, sending it, right?
Well, sending it's a little different. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily for people that don't get that. It's like a mountain bike term that we use for like hitting a trail feature really hard, like going off a jump really fast and kind of making it look easy.
I've heard
like
it in a few other contexts recently. I don't think that it's exclusive to mountain biking.
Well, there's firearms too. Send it is something that your spotter says before you fire a round with the rifle.
But I wonder, even like I've heard it in context of like jumping other vehicles. I don't think it's exclusively mountain biking. I think it's just like any extreme sport that has airtime. I think may use that term. But
And there's actually today I learned that there is a term, shred the gnar.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Apparently that's a skateboard thing too.
Oh, okay.
I found that out today.
I thought that came from surfing, but I'm not a surfer. I have no
Maybe
idea.
it is. Oh fuck. Oh god. There's nothing original.
Yeah. Well,
Just
I
a
mean,
mountain bike bro.
the original name for skateboarding was sidewalk surfing. I mean, it really was just they were taking surfing and they were putting it on the cement. Like that's.
It's like when old guys were like, "Are you smoking marijuana cigarettes?"
God, I wish I knew where I put that sample.
That was the original. Do you have one?
Fucking nailed it, dude. Holy shit. I am learning this
Brilliant.
soundboard.
You're all over the soundboard.
But yeah, so I guess like let's to get back to like the actual point and what we want to do with this. So to add value, I guess my idea would be to look at an idea like this and then decide if it's something that we would deem valuable for us. I guess, you know what I mean? Like where do we take the discussion and then turn it into bringing value or bringing some sort of focus to it?
Okay. So we need to make a beam out of this. Well, okay, you know what? First, let me share this other video. I'm gonna put it in
Oh
the
yeah,
chat.
yeah. Sorry.
This is made by the same person.
Okay.
Matt Best. This is on his channel.
Which was
he-
Matt Best the one with the tattoos or the other guy?
Yeah, he was the one with the one with the tattoos that basically did like all the talking in that
Yeah.
video.
Okay.
And once again, we seriously are not affiliated with any brands. But Black Rifle Coffee, actually pretty good. It's kind of pricey, but I've gotten a couple bags of it. But just to prove that we're not associated with a brand, George Howell, Counterculture, Intelligentsia, all good brands of coffee. Try them out.
Okay.
And all of those are competitors. So I don't want anybody that's a plug.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a coffee. I don't want to call you a coffee snob, but a coffee connoisseur. You appreciate fine coffee.
I like coffee a lot. But if you like really dark coffee, Black Rifle has a roast called Murdered Out. The fucking most face-kickingly dark shit you'll ever drink in your life. Roast that shit in a French press, and your face will just fall off. Like I just recently put mine back on.
Have you ever had all right, so I don't know if this is a thing. Hoffman and I did this once. And it was just like an idea we had. But we took coffee and we brewed a pot.
You put it back in the coffee maker and then brewed it again?
Yes. What is that? Is that a thing?
I call it twice brewed coffee.
Okay.
But it's really bad for your coffee maker.
Oh, really? Oh, well, it was like a cheap, like $10 Walmart coffee maker, so it wasn't too bad. But that was the strongest coffee I've ever had, though. That was very dark.
You're gonna get a weird extraction putting coffee through a coffee filter with coffee in it with a paper filter.
Gotcha.
But not a bad thing. I mean, like I've done it. Me and my roommates used to like emasculate each other for making weak coffee. So I did that 3 times one morning. What you're talking about, I put the coffee back through 3 times. Like, I was like, man, fuck you guys. This coffee is gonna be the most disgusting shit you've ever fucking eaten, but it's gonna but it's gonna be strong.
Can you just brew coffee with like alcohol? Like, could you brew coffee with whiskey instead of water? Or will it not extract?
I mean, I work with chemists. I should ask them what the difference would be between ethanol and coffee. I have a feeling that the ethanol would probably extract different compounds from the coffee
than the water would. Yeah.
But there is still water and alcohol. So
yeah, true. Yeah.
I don't know. I should ask one of the guys at work.
I think you should just do it. I think that should be our like Saturday morning experiment one stream, and just let us know how it goes, man.
Okay.
Sweet. All right. So you agreed to it. That's now filmed and on the record.
Some verbal agreement.
But yeah, so
this is the part where you tell me to man up and do it.
Exactly. But no, in the vein of manning up, I do want to check out this next video here. So let's see what would you say his name is Matt Best, you said, right?
Yes, and this is from Memorial Day a couple years ago.
Okay, let's see what Mr. Best has to say. This video is entitled Brotherhood, I Choose Life. Nice shot.
Our brotherhood is etched in stone.
It's a really good shot, actually. It's very
This
pretty.
unbeaten path we walk is never alone. And through the trails of terror, there is no obstacle we won't fear. Because we are unbroken. Unbroken. I would die for you, and you would give your life for me. The very sense of being free. Can we revisit the times of past, as if I wish they would never fade and always last? For no demon real or in mind could ever challenge the courage of brotherhood, tested in time. So may we walk in the memory of those who forever hold the burden of our freedoms. And I promise to never let your memory die, because I'm free in it. And you are always
every time,
with
man.
me, and never forgotten.
Yeah, that was good. I liked that. Yeah, I liked that a lot more than the first one. To me, that is a lot more of how to be a man.
I think they both are.
Well, yeah, but one's I don't know, one like I don't know. I guess for me, when points are made with comedy attached, sometimes I fear the point is getting lost. And I guess this one to me strikes more of a chord and makes the point better than the funnier video.
Yeah, I honestly, I've seen that a few times. I get choked up every time, man. I really do.
Yeah, that was good. I like that. I like what they did there.
The ending and the thing they do with the camera and the way that they edit that when they move and then he gets out of the frame when it comes around. It's like it's really good, man.
Yeah.
But the thing is that you can see that like this person is showing different sides of himself. So
Hmm.
while he likes to joke, because I mean, dude, like I use humor to deal with everything. And if you look at people in the military, like it's all humor.
Oh yeah,
All of
yeah.
that fucking misery and suffering and pain
Yep.
and trauma is deflected by humor.
Yep.
So that's one thing that I've noticed about most of the guys. Like when I did jujitsu and Muay Thai with plenty of Marines and plenty of soldiers, and like they're some of the funniest fucking people you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's all they have because they developed that through a difficult experience.
Yeah.
And you know, like it's yeah. But I think that there's some degree of like, do you know Rich Froning?
I do not recognize the name. No.
He's one of the CrossFit Games athletes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Actually, can you pull up a picture of him and just show it to the viewers?
Yeah, sure. How do you spell that last name?
Froning.
Okay, I got him.
Just preferably
Jeez.
shirtless.
Dude is jacked.
It's
Holy shit. Okay.
ridiculous.
Yeah. So, this is Rich Froning. This is a very, very jacked gentleman. He looks like he can lift quite a few weights, probably all of the weights.
Yeah, we could just give him all the weights and he'd like lift them all at once.
Yeah, he can lift them all above his head. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, like,
And then slap a lot of hands.
oh yeah. And actually, the Matt Best and the Black Rifle Coffee guys, mostly Matt Best, but he does a lot of videos making fun of CrossFit, which is funny because a lot of his friends are CrossFitters.
Yeah.
But they do it like to make fun of themselves. But
Yeah.
Rich Froning is a CrossFit Games athlete, and they did a documentary with him in it a while ago. I want to say it was on Netflix. It might have been on Prime. But there's a part where it's during the CrossFit Games. His wife leaves their daughter
Okay.
to go like hang out and go do some shit and kind of blow off some steam because she's been like watching the kid while Rich has been doing his thing and like competing and all that shit. So
Okay.
it's really cool. Like these CrossFit people are like, they're all like friends and stuff. Like there's a bunch of different people that are all competing with each other.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
four of them are in a room goofing off and telling jokes.
Yeah.
Like between like days of competition. But there's a scene where you see Rich, this like big, massive human,
Hmm.
and he's delicately holding his daughter.
Yeah.
And it's like it's this person that could like, you know, lift all kinds of things. Like here's the thing, man. Like I know how to fight, but I feel like Rich Froning would just tear my face off. And like that's that. Like so he could like just, you know, rip off one of my arms and like one clean swipe like the fucking Wolverine. But he's also capable of taking this massive sort of very strong physique and to be able to delicately like, you know, hold a small human
Yeah.
and like, you know, realize there's some care needed
Yeah.
in order to, you know, avoid harming that individual. And to me, like there's something really cool about that image. It's a really cool shot in the documentary.
Mhm.
And that stayed with me. That's the one thing of all the crazy shit that happened in that documentary.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that stayed with me was just that.
Yeah. No, that is a powerful image though.
Oh yeah. It really is like to see, because I mean, you saw the guy, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, did you ever see that date night movie with, is it Steve Carell? Yeah, Steve Carell, the comedian.
Yeah. I love Date Night. Yeah.
Like Mark Wahlberg's in it.
Yeah.
And they show up at the place, he's like shirtless and jacked. And he's like, and later on, Steve Carell's character's like, why do you need muscles on your shoulders that are that big? Like, that's Rich Froning. It's like, why are your muscles that big? There's no reason for this. Like, you're a ludicrous human. Your body is ludicrous. But I guess that they're maybe like, I guess you said something about like kind of focusing this. And I think that there's,
I mean, or am I barking up the wrong tree? Is the value just the discussion itself?
I don't know. Is anybody watching? Does anybody care? Let us know. I mean, if you're over there, comment. If you're still there, maybe you'd rather watch us shoot people and get frustrated sucking at Apex.
Well, yeah. That is coming soon. Yeah. But yeah. So I guess I don't know. To wrap up then, because we do need to do that. I like this type of discussion. But I am interested though in your opinion, because I loved your idea of adding that value. I think that is very important. In your opinion, is the discussion valuable enough, or do we need to do something else with it to make it more pointed or more valuable?
I think if we can use the conversation to benefit people in some fashion, then I think that would be good.
Okay.
But I think that the problem is that, especially on the internet, it can be difficult to be honest about anything without being vilified.
Okay.
So I think the value in this particular conversation might be a little bit lost, because whatever value I feel like I have to offer, I feel like I might get like chastised or shunned for.
Gotcha.
Because people will like not like it necessarily. I guess what I'm saying is that I think there was a lot of benefit in my life to hearing people tell me to man up.
Okay.
And as long as it wasn't like, man up and bong all these beers.
Yeah, it's in the right circumstance. Like, not man up and drop your phone screen down.
Yeah, like that's just ridiculous. So I think if someone's going to say that, I think that there's, let's just take this whole fucking thing and take it apart.
Okay.
Man up. All it means is be resilient, be independent, be someone that can be relied upon by your friends, and be ready for whatever's going to happen.
Yeah, be an adult.
So just be a fucking adult. Like, be a grown up, be well adjusted. Don't be a fucking rage fiend.
Yeah.
That's what is the most beneficial way to interpret it as. And if someone tells you to man up and, I don't know, like, okay, here's a crazy scenario. Hey man, I want to do this YouTube video. Will you put on this flak vest and let me shoot you? No, man up.
Yeah, just man up, dude.
At that point, you tell the person to fuck off, because that's just stupid.
I like the idea of telling someone that's being toxically if someone is being an example of toxic masculinity, telling them to man up, as in like, no, be a real man. Stop. Yeah. Like you're being ridiculous right now.
Yeah. And I would say that by the definition that we used earlier, when it's like I don't want a boy, I want a man. Someone that tells you to man up in a context that is intended to be peer pressure, that person's not being a man, they're being a boy. So what I'm saying is they're not being an adult, they're being a child, regardless of their downstairs mix up or what they identify as. Yep. Whoever that person is, they're not acting like an adult. Or like, oh, hey, you pussy, like that kind of thing. Same thing.
Yep.
Did you ever hear Trevor Noah's routine on calling somebody pussy?
No.
It's really funny.
No, I have. Yeah, that is a good bit. That is a good bit. Actually, yeah, let me, I really need to take a very quick bathroom break. Like it's desperate at this point, actually. We may have an emergency on our hands. So I'm going to pull up that bit real quick. I don't think it's too long, right?
Yeah. I'll just sit here and watch it, maybe laugh.
I just searched Trevor Noah pussy. Let's see.
Trevor Noah pussy. Is your safe search on?
I see House Sparks. I don't see that bit on YouTube. Yeah, Trevor Noah might just be good at getting his stuff off YouTube. I'm not seeing it there.
You could play Matt Best's video on how to be a CrossFitter.
Okay.
Wait, seriously? I was just kidding.
I mean, I need to play something while I go pee. All right, nailed it. I think this is him. Yeah, this is him. Okay. All right. I'll be right back in just 3 minutes.
And I'm Athlete Whiteout, and we're here to talk about CrossFit. Have you heard of our Lord and Savior, David Castro? He reinvented fitness and wrote the rules down on golden tablets. It's so exciting. No, good guys. You better not be doing bicep curls.
All right, Mr. Whiteout, looks like your monthly membership comes to $180.
180 a month?
Yeah, a month. So it's broken down in a couple installments. $30 actually goes to your membership fee. The other $150 goes to fake friends and tolerating your personality.
Jesus Christ, you guys really charge an arm and a leg. Fuck.
Hi, I'm Matt Best. You might know me from videos like How to Be a Douchebag.
And I'm Derek White. You might recognize me from the
That
dick
was a
pics that
clear
I sent your
example
girlfriend.
of perverse
Sorry,
humor
Brian.
used to tolerate bad circumstances.
And today, we're gonna learn how to be a CrossFitter. CrossFit is like any military selection. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
All right, let's get started, guys. Count it off. 1. Looking good, looking good. 2. 3. 7. 9. 10.
I gotta admit, pretty new to CrossFit, man, so what's the workout?
No worries. Today, it's real basic shit. We're taking 20 minutes to find our 37.3% of our 19.5 rep max OHS, and then we're going right into a 21-minute AMRAP with 15 TDB, 10 CDB, 5 HPSU, and 10 S2O. Have a good one.
That's more confusing than my childhood.
All right.
No
I'm back.
curls in the CrossFit box!
I'm sorry.
There you go.
Gosh, I just hate it when they say CrossFit gives you a man body.
I know, right? It's totally not true. So false. Seriously, girl? Is semen paleo? Because I had like 3 quarts last night. Oh my gosh, I had a gallon for breakfast. Ew, you slut.
Jesus.
You're so paleo. Come here.
Oh yeah, they get really, really distasteful.
Fuck this workout. Whoa, what the fuck are you wearing?
I'm going to CrossFit.
Oh, it's totally acceptable then.
Okay. Well, how do you want to wrap this up? Let's get to a point where we could feel like yeah, like we're at a wrapping up point.
I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. I want to hear what you have to say.
I think I'd like to wrap up by saying, can we just stop fucking talking about masculinity? I'm like done with it. Like, this is the last time. Next time it comes up, I'm just like, yeah, I'm bored with it. I'm bored with it. Like, who fucking cares anymore? Like, just, we can't define it. Who cares? Just be a fucking adult. Done.
Yeah. I think what it comes down to, we all need to be more responsible. We all need to be better to each other, and none of that pertains to sex, gender, or anything like that. You don't have to be a better man. You don't have to be a better woman. You just be a better person. And I think that's what matters, right? Well, with that being said, I think we have gotten to the ending of episode 1 of the Metacast podcast. Let us know what you think. We will be back next week, Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.